like 10 by 12 or something.
Yeah.
You know, but I got everything the way it needs to be. So I don't even know if you can see this, Steve. Let's see.
Let's have a look. I'd love to hear you play the drums one day.
Yeah, I'll have to do some.
I'll absolutely love to
drum
hear
stuff. But here's the kit I have right here. I'm getting older. I don't play as fast as I used to, you know.
Oh, that
used to do all the really crazy stuff, but the left foot's not like it used to be.
Yeah, well, that comes with being 42, I'm afraid.
Right.
You know, and I'm 48 at the minute, so I'm coming on 49 next year. Got the big 50 in a couple of years, so there you are. So excellent. So with regards to online demos and gear information, because you know how we get information is changing these days. How important do you feel online demos are these days for guitarists?
I think they're extremely important because that's how I base some of my purchases off of. If I can't play in person at a local store, you know, now there's a music store every 20 feet in Nashville, but not all of them carry some of the stuff that, you know, I would say is focused on towards the high gain stuff that I'm after. So I prefer to check out demos, whether it's through somebody from Sweetwater, whether it's somebody I admire and follow on YouTube that's doing their own take on it. You know what I mean? So I think they're extremely important. I follow a lot of different people, subscribe to a lot of different people. There's a whole group of guys that do incredible demos, if I could name them all. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, and it seems like it's becoming almost like a trend too. You know, there's a lot of folks that have the same passion and the same love for music and gear. And I mean, let's face it, 21 sucks. There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on that our generation hasn't seen before. But it's really cool that people are enjoying their hobbies and their passion and their writing. And these guitar companies, I prefer supporting a lot of the smaller businesses.
Yeah.
That's just my nature. I got a big heart for some of these guys.
Me too.
That's not saying other people don't. There's a lot of folks doing, you know, demos for that reason. But anytime I post something, I don't know if anyone knows this, I don't get paid for any of this. I'm not one of those demo guys that gets $2,000 to do a demo or something like that, nor do I care to be. I just like to do what I do for fun. And if people enjoy it, great. If they don't like the audio, great. This is what I'm working with, and I'm doing it anyway because it's fun for me. Keeps my head in a good spot. Like I said, music's as important to me as oxygen. If I'm not writing or something, you know, then I feel lifeless to an extent. And that's a big thing with 2022 with everything going on. I got laid off a few months back from my job and then rehired back. So it was a blessing to get rehired back to work again. If I'm not doing that, I help my wife doing real estate from time to time. She's a real estate agent, you know, but she's slowing down too. She's 7 months pregnant. We got little baby Harper coming in February.
Yay!
Right? Yeah. So, as far as the demos go, I think it's cool that people have gotten into their passion and their hobbies and they're putting themselves out there, because depression's a big thing. Anxiety is a big thing. And with everything going on, people can have a sense of losing it, you know, when you're not in control of a lot of things and someone else is in control of it, you know, especially with all the fear stuff going on. I'm not gonna get political on you, but there's a lot of, you know, this virus is real, you know, and it's funny how it affects everybody. You know, I might get it, you might get it, and we might be fine. Someone else might get it and they were sicker than a dog for 2 weeks. Someone else gets it, they die. So it's like there's a lot of uncertainties going on, and with all this scary stuff, music's our safe zone.
It
you
is,
know, that's always been my safe place. If I was a kid growing up and my folks were arguing or there's negativity in the house, I had music. If I was doing bad in school and got scolded and had to kick my own ass and do better, when I was down, I had music. If I got broken up with from a girlfriend I met when I was 15, 16 years old, I had music. You know, like all these little moments in life where folks could switch to something else, getting into trouble, crime, drugs, whatever. I always had music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Music's very much a positive pill. I mean, sometimes, and I think people, you mentioned sort of depression and mental health and stuff, and
Sure.
I have I have a history of sort of mental health and mood disorders and things like that. And
Right.
you know, if I'm but I'm very good at managing myself. Well, I'm not very good. I'm better at managing myself these days. And I'm noticing the signals of when things are maybe going in a direction that I don't want to go down. And
Right.
often those are the times when I'll come into here and I'll plug that thing in and I'll play some music. And it's so good. And you can just switch off for 2 hours or whatever it may be. So whatever it was kind of uh, issue you got going through your mind or whatever, it just goes for a few hours, and it's very soothing. I mean,
Right.
even talking to you, now we've been on for an hour and stuff. It's a distraction, isn't it, from what's going on in the world, whether it be the
Of course.
pandemic, whether it be things that are going on in the house. It just shifts the perspective, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And I think that that's really important nowadays because as much as social media is popular right now, there's a side of me that loves all this social media. But there's also a side of me that can't stand it. It's nice to get away with family. You know, we went to Gulf Shores with the kids not long ago, jet skiing in the ocean, just having fun. Had to get away from it all. But also make sure that you take the time, if you're a social media cat, that just takes the time to write music and experience the joy of playing in your own room without the camera on. That's something that's been hard for me since I'm not a professional, YouTube guy. I got like my little 600 folks army or whatever. It's like sometimes I come up here and I just want to write, and then I come up with a cool riff and I'm like, oh, I should post this to Instagram, or I should do this and I should do that. And sometimes it's nice to just be like, actually, I'm going to put the phone under my cabinet so I can't see it, and I'm going to just jam for a while, because sometimes that's hard to do.
Mm.
You think someone wants to see someone or something, or someone's waiting to hear one of your new little things, and then there's that moment where sometimes you post a riff and it gets like 400 likes in the first 15 minutes, and then the next one it's got 8, and you're like, oh shit. So it's not always that important to put something out there unless it's something that you're doing to promote a tone that you admire.
Mm.
I don't know if you see what I did that there. Promote a tone.
Mm.
Maybe not always promoting a product. Like I said, I don't get paid for this stuff. I only do demos of things that I'm currently enjoying and using. I have a lot of older pedals I could whip out and do all these demos of, but I like to showcase things that are inspiring to me. So when I met folks like Kevin from Soundslice Effects, I saw some of his little demos online. I saw some of his pedals, and I was like, could you make me a few things? And when he made me those pedals, I tinkered around with them for like 2-3 weeks. I didn't have some deadline to be a demo guy, but I was like, I'd love to get my hands on this pedal and see what it does for me. And when I saw what it did for me, I threw it out there and was like, check this out. If you don't want to pay, $200 for a clean boost, or $300 for this kind of a boost, get yourself a slicer from Soundslice Effects, and that was one of my first pedals he made for me, was the slicer. And he's building phenomenal stuff. If you don't know Soundslice, by the way, they're in Canada.
Yep.
God, he makes some beautiful stuff, and it's next level. He does, like Danny's finishes are beautiful from his auto industry type stuff. Soundslice does like this epoxy coating. He uses a blowtorch. It's just trippy if you watch his videos. But anyway, get back on point. It's like I like to do demos of stuff that I'm using from my own sound. That's why sometimes at the end of my demos, you'll hear me say, I hope this works for you and your tones and the gear that you're using, because I don't want to put out there that this is the be all end all overdrive. You have to have it, and it's going to sound just like this with your rig. No, it's not.
No.
They might be plugging it into an old Fender Bassman, or a Marshall Plexi, or a Marshall DSL, or a Black Star or something. I'm using it through what I have, through the speakers I like using, through the pickups I'm using. And for the guys that don't think tone woods matter. I'm using the guitars made of the wood that I use that I think matters, you know, because if I put the same pickup in a different mahogany guitar, it sounds totally different. So I like to just put out there what I'm using for fun and explain how I'm getting the tones I'm getting. And I think that's really fun because it's fun because a lot of people, I think they buy a pedal sometimes and they expect it to do a certain thing for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it really depends on all the gear and trailing that. That's also why I like to do the room tones. I don't want it to be kind of a precision sound that's got EQ going on and it's through a picture perfect mix and it's kind of in a under a microscope. I want it to just, when you hear my demos, they're kind of funny because it's what you see is what you get. I'm recording off the cuff. Nothing's rehearsed. I don't have notes or anything. And the tones and stuff I'm getting are really myself, the guitar, the pedal, and the amplifier that I'm using. That's it, you know, and it's really cool because a lot of people like it, you know, and of course you get some flack from some folks that comment, you know, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Well, first of all, I don't have 10 grand to do all that right now. Second of all, because I come up with this stuff so fast, I don't really have the time with my day job to have this, you know, perfect, you know, dialogue with everything. And I don't know how to explain it. I just kind of, sometimes I feel like I'm doing it too fast. I watch my video before I post it. And I'm like, is this kind of is this lame? Did I just come up with this idea too quick? But the inside, my intuition says post what's real.
Yeah, you've got to follow your intuition. And you mentioned
100%.
I'm glad you mentioned pickups because I think we need to give the guys at Voodoo a shout out.
I am so happy about that. Yeah, we're definitely giving them a shout out. We're getting to that. Yeah. Rich is a mad scientist out there in Rhode Island. Of course, I caught his pickups on a couple other guys' YouTube demos. Some that follow Effects Pedal Planet, you know, Truck Driver Sean, and I think Louis Torres was the first one I saw talk about Voodoo pickups. And then I did a demo for the Pennywise pickup, which was the red and white pickup from his horror series. But I could not be more thrilled because I'm not really anybody. I'm just Greg Campbell, Angry Tones. You know, I'm not some famous guy or celebrity out there. And he has been toying around with some ideas back and forth, getting feedback on a certain pickup that I'd be after. And we were going to,
if we could maybe just interject, you say you're only Greg Campbell from Angry Tones, but we did turn down Eric Clapton tonight and Steve Vai. We said no to them.
Tell him I said sorry.
Sorry, I couldn't resist
No, I love your humor. That's great. No, it's just funny because he was toying around with some ideas and talking about different magnets he uses. And I don't know a lot about this stuff. I know what the tone in my head is. You hear that a lot from like famous guys, like they play in these rooms all day and rehearse all day and they have a certain sound they want. Yeah. And I feel the same way because I hear the sound in my mind before it comes out the speakers, what I want to get and what I want to achieve through an amp or a pickup or a pedal. And when Rich was going over some ideas of something new, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. He's going to have a lot of awesome new stuff coming out. His pickups are fantastic. And that I'm not just saying that. I've been using Seymour Duncan for over 25 years. So the switch is something I was really hesitant. Is like anxiety ridden. I'm like, oh, is this going to be like, is it going to still be like my JB or my SH12 or the Custom 5 or the Omega? Like all these pickups I use, I did not want to switch at all. But when he sent me the Pennywise, it blew my mind. That thing's 21.1 on a DCR rating, 21.1K. Pickup is on fire, but it's silent operation. It's a great high output pickup. So when he approached me with some new ideas, I was like, you know, here's what I'd want. If I knew anything about custom designing pickups, this would be a cool magnet type. You know, he gave me some ideas of magnets and what they do, because I certainly didn't know. Then he talked about basic things like types of screws and bobbins and colors and this and the amount of wire wraps. So I don't have too long for this interview today, but I want to give you some really cool information about this pickup because it's blowing my mind, and I'm so thankful he's doing this for me. There's a lot of tricks going into this. You've seen me post a couple of teasers about it. It's supposed to be arriving in the mail actually today. It's called the Alchemist. I chose the name Alchemist because that's, aside from the witchcraft vibe of it, that's working with metals and liquid, the chemistry with metal. I wanted a pickup that had a liquid type sound, fluid sound, but I wanted it to be super aggressive as well, but subtle enough to handle everything. Because I play all sorts of stuff, even though I love the chugging, heavy, articulate, fast picking stuff. I wanted a pickup that can handle all the, the spirit of Greg in one pickup, how I play. Yeah. Because he was like, I'm going to make a signature pickup. And I'm like, I'm not even famous. Should I even have a signature pickup? Will anyone care? Yeah. So check this out. The Alchemist is going to be 18K on a DCR rating. It's got 7,800 wines. I was born in 1978. 7,800 wines.
Brilliant.
He's using an A6 magnet. I was born in June. June is the 6th month. So A6, 78, and 18K. 18 is funny. He used that to get the rating on that thing because 18 is about the age I took guitar seriously.
Yay.
I was always a drummer. But so this pickup has some funny accidental little quirks that came out in him designing it. You know what I mean?
Really nice.
And the fact that it's going to be, like I said, the Alchemist, it's going to be the best of both worlds, for cleans and for extremely heavy stuff, I thought was interesting because I'm also a Gemini. You got the good and the evil. So
brilliant.
Yes. So I think it's going to be great. I really thank you for, mentioning his stuff, because I know last time we spoke a lot about Voodoo, because the Pennywise pickup, but now with this new news about it coming out, he's going to make this custom order for people that ask for it, Brilliant. And of course I chose, being from Orange County, California, everybody likes things that are murdered out. That means it's all black. It's a black bobbin. It's got black hex screws. It's got black regular slugs. So it's got a mix between slugs and hex screws. So the whole pickup is blacked out completely. And of course, it's got the Voodoo logo in chrome, like a dark chrome. So the pickup looks mean as hell, but it's going to have all these characteristics of what we spoke about. Is it going to be tight low end? Yes. Is it going to be aggressive? Yes. But can it have the fluidity for cleans or for when you roll your volume off? That was really important. He was like, well, are you always full throttle on your high gain stuff? I said, a lot of the times I manipulate the volume on the guitar. Yeah. I used to use a volume swell pedal, the old Ernie ball, but now I do it a lot manually with my hand. And I said, sometimes I like to get those, lower volume crunch type tones when I'm using delays and effects. And so he wanted to make a pickup that'll play nicely with all these vibes. So not only is it going to be 18K, but it's also going to have tons of headroom, which is why I believe he wound it at 7,800 winds. If he would have went to 8 or more, could have been too hot. Right. If he backed off, like the Van Halen pickup is a beautiful pickup, but that's got 5,150 winds, 5,150. See what he did there?
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool that this pickup has a lot of, personal qualities that we spoke about and put into it, but also has these little magical vibes. After he made it, I was like, how funny. A6, I'm born in June. 18, I took guitar seriously. 7,800 winds. I was born in 1978. Holy shit.
It's like, for you.
Yeah. So it's really cool. I don't know if he even knows all this. I know I told him the 1978 thing. I was like, that's really funny, because he was asking me what kind of wines he should do. And I'm like, you're the doctor, man. Just operate, do your thing. But Rich is a super nice guy. He's building, once again, a smaller business from the ground up, doing his own stuff. And it's come a long way for him. Super. And I know a lot of folks that have done demos for him have helped out. Hopefully my demo helped out. But that's what I like to see, is a company that's doing what they're doing
Yeah.
And then just out of the blue reaches out and was like, hey, I'm thinking of designing something, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. What if you did this and this and this? And he's like, how about I just make you a signature pickup and you tell me what you would want it to do? And I was like, holy crap, this is great. So it even says when I get it in the mail, I'll show you on the back of it, the model number is ATRC, Angry Tones Riff Clips.
Well, hey.
The Alchemist. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. Rich is awesome. Tell all your friends about Voodoo pickups because they're affordable.
Yeah.
And they're keeping up with anything coming down the pike.
Well, I've been giving them a plug and giving them a follow purely on the back of you introduced me to them. So, nice. for sure. And hopefully I'll get to play some of their pickups at some point. So, but look, finally, if Greg Campbell had to play one guitar, one amp, one pedal, what would it be? You had to demo your ultimate setup. What would it be?
That is a tough question right there, actually, because there's so much good stuff. But being that I played ESPs for so long, the LTD lines, they're the most comfortable for me. So I'd probably want to have an ESP Super Strat of some sort, whether it's an M1 or whether it's like what I'm using now. But obviously one of their USA customs would be nice. My one amp, out of all the amazing amps out there, would be probably the PV5150, the original block letter. And if I had to choose just one pedal to go through that, that's why I said this is a tough one. That's why I chose the amp. It doesn't always have to be boosted. That's mean as hell. I would probably choose either an Alexander Pedals or an Earthquaker Devices delay of choice.
Yeah,
because I have to have delay for some of the things I write. That's just where I get that. You get that creative vibe, that spike in imagination with having otherworldly tones with that kind of space and dimension from a delay. So yeah, ESP, PV5150, block letter, and a delay.
Excellent. Superb. Well, look, Greg, thank you so much. And for giving us your time, and thanks very much for your contribution to the group as well. It's so nice seeing all your demos and everything coming through. So thank you very much, and all the best for you and your family, and youngster coming along next year, and you
right.
And everything else. So
that'll be fun.
Lots of love from the UK. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you once again. And I appreciate all the things that you're doing for the guitar community as well. There's lots of love being shown there. And with all these YouTubers and pedal builders and everything, you're really putting it out there to express your love for the guitar community as well. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You take care. Have a good week, rest of the week, and a great weekend. And I'll speak to you very soon.
Absolutely. And a Merry Christmas, man. That's coming up.
Oh, yes. I'll see you later.
All right. Later, Steve.
See you later. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.